everyone, my name is Hannah. Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul, which I haven't done one since August, I think. It's been a while. So this is going to be like my fall winter book haul. So all of the books that I've gotten in September, October, November, December, and the beginning of January here. I will say I'm not going to be talking about any of the books that I hauled and then have since unhauled, which is a thing for me. I do unhaul books, especially if I read them and know I'm not going to reread them. So I do have plenty more books than what I'm going to mention here that I did haul, but I've since gotten rid of them, so we won't talk about those. So these are the ones that I've hauled and kept. So first off, we're going to talk about the most exciting books that I've hauled, and that is my Handbound fanfics from my friend Mel over at Mel Binds Fix. So last year, I really got into reading fanfiction, specifically Dramini fanfiction, and you can't like get physical copies of it unless it's handbound. It's not legal to like sell them, so you can't like buy them anywhere. And so it was just so nice when she reached out and offered to handbind Manacled for me, which I did haul in my last book haul, but since then she has handbound even more for me, which I'm so grateful for, because some of these books are like some of my favorite books of all time, and it's just so nice to have a handbound copy, especially because I really like to annotate, and so it's really fun to annotate in these like hard copies of these fanfics. So first off, I have Remain Nameless by Hey Jude 19. So Mel designs the dust jackets for this, as well as the like underneath. It has like special stuff on it. It even has a ribbon bookmark. Which I could... Every time I think about the fact that she made this with her own two hands, it just completely blows my mind, and I love it so much. This is probably my favorite book of 2023, and so having a hard copy of it is just the most like exciting thing for me, and I just love it so much. So I have Remain Nameless. And then we did a buddy read in October, and that was for Breathmint's Battle Scars by Onyx and Elm. So she handbound copies of this for me, and then one for Lachlan when we did our buddy read, so that we could annotate, which of course I annotated the crap out of this one. I love this one so much. It's not a wrap-up or anything. I need to stop thinking like treating book hauls like wrap-ups, but she did hand bind this copy for us so that we could do our buddy read. And then we did a Christmas gift exchange where I annotated a couple books for her and sent them to her, and then she would hand bind the like fic of my choosing. And so I chose The Disappearances of Draco Malfoy by Speechwriter, another stunning one, and I just love this cover so much. I also really like the feel of this dust jacket. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels really nice. And another ribbon bookmark. This one's a snake. And then she included our January buddy read, which is In Silence and Submission by Gillian Eliza on AO3. So she's been making paperbacks, which you know I'm a paperback bitch, so I absolutely love that she made this as a paperback. It's just a really short little like smutty Dramini novella. And then she also included this collaboration between Senlin Yu and Alethian Art, which is just, I think, just a collection of one-shots, but there is art from Alethian like throughout it, which I really like this artist's style. So she included a paperback of that in that Christmas gift exchange as well. And these next fics I did not get from Mel, but I got them on Depop because the seller was only asking for the cost of shipping. And that is All the Young Dudes by Miss King Bean 89. So this is a Marauders fan fiction, so it's following James Potter, Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew at their time during Hogwarts, and it's split into 3 volumes. So I have those 3, which I'm really grateful to have these. I have a couple of historical ones. So the first one is a classic. It's The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I got the Penguins Classic Edition because I have a small Penguins Classic like collection started, and I wanted to read this one. This is like the mass market paperback style though, which doesn't match the rest of them, but it does have the little like red thing at the top, so the spine matches. But I got this one because I wanted to read this and I wanted it to match my collection. And then the other historical that I have is called One Man's Love by Karen Rainey, which I got from a local bookstore in their historical romance section, but I pretty much picked it up because I really like the art on the back, and it says, "Fate made them enemies, but for a wild Scottish woman and a hardened British soldier, anything was possible when love conquered all." And I just really liked that tagline, so I picked it up specifically because it's set in Scotland, and I'm planning a trip to Scotland with my mom, which I'm really excited about. that won't be for a little while yet, but that's why I picked that one up. Then I picked up a few romances. So I picked up the new cover editions of Binding 13 and Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is a rugby sports romance set in Ireland, and I really, really loved these two, and they were getting new covers. So I picked up the covers that I actually like. There's a couple different cover variations for this, but this was my favorite of them. And it also has the like ombre spines, which was like a limited thing from, I think it's Bloom Books, right? Yeah. So like the ombre spine, and then the next ones that come out will have that ombre spine. So I got these. I also got the People on the Cover edition of Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. I was originally going to get like a collection of Elsie Silver's books because my Chestnut Springs series is all the people on the covers. So when she came back out with these, they were going to be going away. So I snatched this one up. This is the first book in the Gold Rush Ranch series, but I ended up not really loving this and then deciding that I don't really need to own all of her books just for the sake of owning them all. So I'm probably going to read the rest of the series on my Kindle, and if there's one that I really love, then I'll buy that one physically. But yeah, I got that one. I also got the book Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood when I was with Lachlan, and I got the Barnes & Noble edition of this one. I'm a big Ali Hazelwood fan, but this is her YA debut. I love Ali Hazelwood's writing, so I wanted to pick this one up and just give it a try, and I ended up really liking it. So if you're skeptical, I would say still give it a try. I also have two holiday romances here. One of them, shockingly enough, is called Holiday Romance, and then the other one is Snowed In, both by Catherine Walsh. These are in a like companion series. So the first book is Holiday Romance, the second book is Snowed In. So it follows characters that you meet in this one. This one follows the little brother of the main guy in this one, and they're both set in Ireland, and I just really, really loved these. I picked these up right before Christmas, and they gave me all of the like Christmassy, wintry vibes that I wanted, and I just loved the writing. So if you're maybe next year looking for a holiday romance, I would highly recommend these two. I also picked up a copy of Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. This was like blowing up all over the internet when it came out, and I did get the red sprayed edges, which is kind of cute. I didn't know very much about this at the time, but it's basically like a cozy fantasy romance. It's kind of silly and just kind of a fun time, but yeah, I picked this up just because it was like blowing up all over the internet, and I think Rachel from Ravenhood Reader and I picked this up on the same day, which is kind of funny. Like, it's a very spontaneous thing, so got that one. I also picked up a copy of Upon a Frosted Star by M.A. Kuzniar. This is this author's second novel. The first one is Midnight in Everwood, which I read a couple years ago and really enjoyed. I wanted a book with a lot of wintry atmosphere, and this one delivered on that. It is a Great Gatsby-inspired retelling of Swan Lake, and I just think that this copy is just so stunning. This one's slightly random, but it is Normal People, the Scripts, which I got from Pango Books. Basically, this is just the scripts of the show Normal People, and I really, really love that show, and it's got a couple like pictures and images from the show in it. But yeah, it's literally the scripts. Now I've got a couple of graphic novels. The first one is Lore Olympus Volume 5, which I have been absolutely loving this series last year, and I will be pre-ordering all of the future volumes of this. I know it's on Webtoons and I could read it for free online, but I really enjoy having the physical copy. I like all of the like colors that are used throughout it, and I really like how they are telling the story of like the gods in Olympus and like the Greek god myths and stuff. So when this one came out, I had it pre-ordered, so I got that one. And then also another pre-order is Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman. So I accidentally pre-ordered the US edition and not the like international edition. So this one doesn't match the rest of mine, but it does have like the cool blue tint on it, which none of my other ones do. So I'm debating on if I replace the first 4 volumes with the US editions or just replace this one with the international edition so that it matches. I don't know yet, but I do have this. I got this when it came out. Another one that I got right when it came out was A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I actually have 2 copies of this one. So I have the very pretty UK hardcover, which this cover, I mean, you cannot tell me that that is not stunning and gorgeous and beautiful. And I don't know why the US editions aren't equally as gorgeous, because they're just not. The US covers, like, they're fine. They're very average in my opinion. But this is stunning. This is art, okay? It also fits the vibe of this story so well, so I had to get this. I will probably be getting the paperback that matches my other paperbacks when it comes out. But I did get the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I forgot that I ordered this and I never canceled it, but I took the dust jacket off and I kept it because it has the Ballad of the Archer and the Fox like embossed and like really pretty on the front. So I just have that one. So I have both of these. And then I also have 2 copies of Never by Jessa Hastings. I have the hardcover with the really pretty, map. The really pretty map and pages on it, which this was sent to me from the publisher. So thank you very much to Bloom Books for sending me this. It's my first ever like PR package from a publisher, which was really exciting. So, and then I also have the paperback because I'm a paperback bitch. And when I read it, I'm going to annotate in the paperback. I did get to read an early copy of this, but it was in its very early stages, so I'm sure that there have been changes made, so I am excited to reread this one, but yeah, 2 copies of that one. Also, art. Like, this artist is so stunning. I did get the paperbacks for House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, so the first 2 books in the Crescent City series. I know I say it all the time, but I love paperbacks. I prefer paperbacks. I've just grown to know that about myself. And so I am collecting the paperbacks of all of my favorite books. And when I reread this series, I will be rereading the paperbacks so that I can annotate in those before the 3rd book comes out. And then I also grabbed the paperback of A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This is kind of a unicorn book a little bit. They're very hard to come by. Most people, if they're reselling the original cover, like Sarah J. Maas of the ACOTAR series, it's in hardcover, or you can find the first 3 in paperback, but always I see A Court of Frost and Starlight in hardcover. It was really hard to find a paperback, so when I did find it, I definitely overpaid for it, but I'm okay with that because it was really hard to find, and I got it on Pango Books, and I had Pango Bucks, so it was kind of like trading books for this one, basically. That's how I'm going to think about it. So I didn't really like spend actual money on it. But yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to finally find the paperback of this one. Now we're getting into some of my fantasy romances here. So I did buy The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis. I had this pre-ordered because I kept seeing like edits about this book pop up in my Instagram feed under suggested, and then I started following the author because all of the edits that I saw sounded so good, where she would like describe a quick scene or put like one line from the book, and I was hooked. That always is my kryptonite. That gets me every time. If I see just like one line or like one annotation of a book, I'm like, oh, let me go read that. So I had this pre-ordered and got it when it came out. I can't remember exactly when it got released. I don't think I've hauled this, because maybe it came out in May. I don't know if I've hauled this. If I hauled this, sorry. I also got a copy of Powerless by Lauren Roberts, which is another one that was like blowing up all over the internet. It's like a Hunger Games kind of style fantasy romance. It has trials and stuff, and it's an enemies to lovers or reluctant allies to lovers. But yeah, everybody and their mother was reading this and talking about it and was like so obsessed with it, so I had to pick it up and get myself a copy. I got A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden, which I did already have a copy, but I had the self-published edition. This is the traditionally published edition, and I don't think that it's like been edited at all or changed at all. Maybe some like grammar things. That page is really pretty. But I know that I love this series. This was one of my favorite books of last year, and I will for sure be picking up all of the future books in this series. So I wanted them to match, so I wanted to have the traditionally published edition on my shelf, which I used my gift card from Rachel that she gave me for Christmas. So thanks, Rachel. Basically, you bought me this book. Next up, I have Blood and Steel by Helen Schorer. I am really, really excited to read this one. This is one that gets compared to A Court of Silver Flames. And again, I just see so many like edits of this and like quotes from this online, and I'm so excited to get to it. I'm in my fantasy romance reading mood right now, so I'm hoping that I can pick this up really soon. But yeah, I had to get a copy because I have another copy here that is kind of linked to that, and that is Slaying the Shadow Prince, which is a standalone but set in this world. This was gifted to me by my friend Christina, so thank you so much, Christina, for gifting me this. But I believe you have to read this one first, then read this one. You don't have to read this, but that's like the recommended reading order, and then pick up the second book, which is called Vow of Ruins or something like that. So once I read this, I'll be able to jump into this one. This is one of those in the like kind of collaboration that a bunch of indie fantasy romance authors did. The most notable one to me is Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent. So I've been slowly picking up the rest of the author's books, but since I heard that you have to read this one first, or you should read this one first before going into here, that's what I decided to do because I want to read them both. So that's what I will do. Then I have a few Christmas gifts here. So these are both from Brandon. He got me Flame and Sparrow by S.M. Gaither. This is the same author as the Shadows and Crowns series. So the first book in that series is Song of the Marked. And Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy read this one, and she said it was so much fun and she had such a good time with it. And again, I follow this author on Instagram and I see all of these like quotes from it that I'm just like, that sounds right up my alley. Let me pick that up. And I'm really excited. It's the first book in a duology, and the second book comes out later this year. So I want to pick this up, especially while I'm in my fantasy romance reading mood. So also, this is just so stunning. And then the other book that Brandon got me was Blood Mercy by Vella Roth. This is a vampire romance. I'm not sure what the trope is, if it's enemies to lovers or friends to lovers. I don't really know, but I do know that most of my friends that have read this absolutely loved it, and my curiosity is piqued. I have heard that I might not like this, but I want to give it a try. I just want to try it. So I put this on my wish list, and Brandon very kindly picked it up for me. And then the last book that I have here was a gift from my mom for Christmas, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is the collector's edition, so it comes with this gorgeous, stunning black slipcase, and then it's like a suede book. Like it has like suede material on it, so it's got this art. Hopefully you can see it because it's like black on black. And then it's black sprayed edges. The end pages have some stunning art of Jude and Carden. Oh my god. And then on the back as well, there's some more stunning art. So yes, thank you, Mom, for picking that up for me and gifting that to me for Christmas. So yeah, those are all of the books that I have gotten in the last like 4 or so months. I know it's not that many, but like I said, first of all, I try not to buy as many books unless I know I'm going to be reading them very soon. But also I have some books that I bought and then have since unhauled. So there was more than this at one point. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Just leave the book stack emoji down in the comments down below to let me know that you made it to the end of this video. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in my next one. Bye.